And welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is another patron roster review, and this is Jugghub from Hot for Padme. And he's been playing for under 6 months. He's a small dolphin. He's got a real hyper focus, been doing really, really well since the very beginning, a little over 5 months played. And like I said, very small dolphin, has spent a little bit of money for some gear here and there, but all in all, not a whole lot. Wants some basic focus on arena, some basic focus on ships. Kind of wants to know if Jawas are good enough for the Jawa thing, and which characters should he be gear 12ing, because he has no gear 12 and he doesn't want to put any of that really high-end gear on the wrong people. So the first thing we're going to tackle is actually just that quick question: are your Jawas good enough? And my thought is your Jawas are good enough. I have a video. It's an old video, probably over a year old, but it does showcase my Jawas kind of at gear 8-ish, gear 9. I think most of them were gear 8, and they went through that bonus. And I understand you don't want to put too much into them, so maybe watch that video, see where I had them. Your Jawas are looking superficially about right. You might have to pop in an extra piece of gear here, an extra piece of gear there. I even did it with my abilities at level 3. All the abilities of all Jawas were at level 3, and so keep that in mind when you watch my video. Really, all the abilities were trash, and I still was able to do it. So it looks like you're really getting there with Jawas. You're almost there. So you should be able to tackle that and put that kind of behind you, if we will. So now we're going to go into arena and ships, and you said gear 12. So we're going to talk about arena and ships, but with the mindset of who should you gear 12. And first off, the answer to gear 12 is anyone you use in arena, any crew member you use in ships, and any of the like legendary characters that are actually good should all be gear 12. That should be your focus. Now, when we talk about legendary characters, we're talking about characters such as Thrawn. Let's go ahead and check these characters out. So legendary characters are like, you have Han Solo on the bottom left. He is a legendary character. R2-D2. When I say legendary, I don't mean from a legendary event. I just mean they're legendary in the game. Some of them come from legendary events. Some of them come from raids. So characters like General Kenobi, Han Solo, Thrawn, CLS, Commander Luke Skywalker, Rey, BB-8, R2-D2. These are all characters you want, you should have, and you should get, and all of them should be taken to gear 12. The legendary characters in the game are really the most overpowered, and they're the ones that are going to help you in the most areas of the game. So with that said, as far as your arena team goes, with what you have available to you, just looking in your inventory, you're currently using a wedge lead with Biggs and the Chase combo, and of course R2-D2. This truly is, for what you have available, really the best team currently. Now, you have a bit of a problem, and that is that Emperor Palpatine is kind of taking off, and his Emperor Palpatine has a ton of anti-rebel synergy. So because of that, your team right now is a bit rough in the possibility of the damage that you're going to take because of all of the Emperor Palpatine teams out there. So my thought is, if you're going to stay rebel, and we know you have a ton of rebels really doing well, is you're going to need CLS, and the next time that CLS event comes out. So I was looking at your abilities, and Stormtrooper Han, Princess Leia, Old Ben, Farmer Luke, everybody, R2, everyone looks great except for R2's 7th star. So then it takes me to the Empire. And with the Empire, you have enough that when R2-D2 comes back around, you should, especially after the Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine rework, you should, with this top 5, be able to get your R2 to 7 stars. Once R2 is 7 stars, you'll be able to use him in conjunction with the other characters to be able to get Commander Luke Skywalker. Once you have Commander Luke Skywalker, he will be a better lead for you than the current lead you're using, which is Wedge. Once you get Commander Luke Skywalker into the position of Wedge, it will be time to replace Biggs with Han Solo. Now, you will want to, obviously, Zeta shoots first, and it is still a phenomenal Zeta, but with CLS, Han Solo, your Chase combo, and R2-D2, your team will be durable and will handle the Empire teams much better. And this is why CLS revives can cleanse. So he's going to kind of keep himself alive. And Han Solo, with his countering capability underneath CLS, will punish the Empire for hitting him, and he can do a ton of damage. So make sure that you Zeta his shoots first and continue obviously developing him to gear 11 and eventually to gear 12, not only for the arena team, but because he's one of the legendary characters in the game. When I say legendary, again, I mean all the most overpowered characters that are in the game. So that's the team I suggest you evolve into, would be CLS lead with Han Solo underneath to replace Biggs and Wedge. But in the meantime, the characters that you're using work very well. Now, Jugghub, you're doing really well in the fleet arena, which I really, really love that you're using the Executrix and you're using the 3 ties with Biggs. And then you've got in Boba Fett's Slave 1. Why not? Because he does target lock and is pretty tanky, and it's keeping it in the top 10 during payout. So that's really, really good because you're getting the crystals, and crystals are a big deal. And since you're not getting as many from the other side, you might as well get some from this side. It really helps. And so with that, you need to have, this team is great for now, kind of like your regular arena where you're at is where you're at. This team will work for now. But you're going to want, obviously, to focus on and develop the in-game teams. And, of course, you're going to want to gear 12 any of these crew members for these teams. And so, of course, you can continue to use Executrix, Biggs Darklighter, TIE Advanced, the Imperial TIE Fighter, the First Order TIE Fighter, but you will eventually want to move Slave 1 out and to move the TIE Reaper in. Now, the TIE Reaper, you don't have the pilots or the ship, but you should be getting high enough that you can complete the 9B, I believe it is, so that way you can start to get the Shore Trooper and the TIE Reaper shards, and you want to then go into Cantina and focus on getting the Death Trooper. Those 2 characters plus their ship is going to really give you a competitive edge against anybody that's running the Chimera or the Executrix. Now, with that said, the Chimera isn't even on your radar, it appears, when I look at this, because I see that you're missing 4 other Rebel ships. And if there were other Rebel ships that I would focus on, it would obviously be finishing off Wedge's ship, since you have Wedge. And then I would then focus on the Phoenix Squad ships, the Phantom 2 and the Ghost, because those 2 ships are great ships. And then the 5th could either be Cassian's U-Wing or Biston's U-Wing, with Biston's U-Wing being the better of those 2 U-Wings. And so definitely I would highly recommend you focus on the Rebel ships and their pilots. At least get the pilots to gear 8 and take their ships to 7-star. That way you can go in and go ahead and get your Chimera, because the Chimera is in fact the best, and you should have a goal and a focus. So these ships, the Rebel ships, should be in your priority for getting, but not before you focus on the TIE Reaper and the 2 crew member of the TIE Reaper, the Death Trooper and the Shore Trooper. So hopefully this gets you focused on which ships you should be going for, which crew members you should be going for, and what arena team that you should be focused on down the road. Keep in mind all those legendary characters: Thrawn, Han, CLS, General Kenobi, Rey, BB-8R2, all of them you're going to want to gear 12. All of your arena characters like Chirrut and Baze and R2, you're going to want to level them up and max them out. And with ships, all your crew members, you're going to want to take to gear 12 as well. When you start earning Zeta, you're going to want to put Zetas on your arena team first and then your ship's crew second, because that is something that will really give you a competitive edge. Both of them are going to give you crystals for the long haul. And like I said, you're doing very well for only having been in the game about 5 months. As always, if people have suggestions or comments, leave them down below and keep your gaming on. Warrior, out.